I mean, to be fair to all their wives and girlfriends on Valentine's Day, at least they had no worries with them playing away, because this lot ain't played away for about 3 seasons, have they? Let alone on Valentine's Day.
You just got blown away, really, didn't we? And sometimes you hold your hands up, but you'd rather hold your hands up when you've give it a real go. I don't think we did.
They're good, Cardiff. No, they're not. They're not good. They're brilliant. You can still offer a lot more than what we did yesterday in terms of your own statistical numbers.
I think that's the main debate, really. It's how are they so vastly superior to us?
There's the dominance. Their right back had as many shots in the game as Luton. I think I've done something like 1,600 miles to away games in 2026, and I've got 5 shots on target to show for my travels. 320 miles per shot on target. Osho, Bradley, Pearson, Collins, Marriott, they all stroll into this side.
I can't get on board with it. It's one of your more out there theories. I'm not having it. It feels like a bottom of the barrel argument, this one.
Of course it's a bottom of the barrel. We've delivered 5 shots on target in 4 away games. The Town were brought down to earth with a bump with a 3-1 defeat to the league leaders Cardiff on Saturday afternoon, and alongside me to look back on a sobering day of football is the Lutonian journalist James Cunliffe. Jimbo, up for Kearley, that would have been a Valentine's Day massacre, I'm afraid.
Deja vu, really, isn't it?
It's indeed, yeah. We will go through the game and what everything means all around it right after this intro. Welcome along to another episode of the Luton Town Supporters Trust podcast, the award-winning, longest-running Luton Town podcast. This season, the show is in association with Solid, providing opportunities, provisions and assistance so our academy can fulfil their potential. As we said before you heard the intro, we are looking back at Cardiff City 3, Luton Town 1. They really told us exactly how far behind the league leaders we are in this division, and I've got Jimbo alongside me, as always, for the next 45 minutes to an hour or so to reflect on everything. Jimbo, I used the word sobering before the intro because it was the word that you used when you shared the instant reaction on social media yesterday, and it's a really good word. You really should have a career in words, actually. I don't think any Luton fans went to Cardiff yesterday expecting to win the game, or at least the ones I spoke to, and I spoke to quite a few that were down there, expected to win the game. We hoped that we would give them a game and wanted to see something that we could take away from the game. But what we got was, well, a lesson in how to play League One football, really.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I said it was an acid test in the preview, didn't I? And, well, we failed to live up to that test, really. And, yeah, I think you're right that maybe compared to all the other away performances, this one is clearly against a team who are far superior. I mean, there's plenty of threads to pull on there, and I'm sure we will, but it's just not happening. It's not even close to happening away, and that is a worry. Well, considering the games we've got coming up, because they're must-wins now, but you just got blown away, really, didn't we? And sometimes you hold your hands up, but you'd rather hold your hands up when you've give it a real go. I don't think we did.
No, I don't think we did either. I mean, I've looked through all the stats because, I'm trying to use stats to work out what is going wrong and where it's going wrong and everything else. And the first immediate stat that jumped off the page was we had 3 shots yesterday. And this is a game that we were 3-1 down in for over 45 minutes. Call it 50 minutes, really, if you add on all the injury time. Didn't have a single shot after they scored their 3rd goal, which is just ludicrous of any kind. I'm not even talking shots on target. I'm not even talking a 40-yard speculative of I've had enough of this, I'm just going to put my foot through something shot. Nothing. No shot. When you're 3-1 down. They're good, Cardiff. No, they're not. They're not good. They're brilliant for this level. Now, I never watched much of Birmingham, but they must have played some really good football if they're better than this Cardiff side. But you can still offer a lot more than what we did yesterday in terms of your own statistical numbers.
Yeah, I think that's the key. It's what you call for as well in the preview. That at 3-1, even the biggest optimist in the world might have a hard time suggesting that we were going to get something out of that game. But you give it a go. I mean, if you are glass half full, you could say we improved in the second half, but not enough. Those stats don't lie, and that's not against the league leaders. Perhaps you can go, okay, so they were brilliant, but that's the case all the time away, isn't it? We're just not threatening enough. It happened against Exeter, who are down near the bottom, isn't it? We didn't have a shot on target. It's there's something so vastly different between what we're able to achieve at home and away. And it's so frustrating because most of those players played in that home game, which was fantastic. We played really well against Bradford, but then, we leave the borders of Luton, we fall to bits.
Oh, we do indeed, yeah. Yeah, you're right. 10 of the 11 that started against Bradford started again yesterday. The only one who didn't was Shaden Morris. Izzy Jones came in. I mean, if he's Jack's right back, there ain't many more positions he's got left to play before he actually plays right back. Started on the right wing yesterday, went to the left wing after half-time, finished up at left back. We will get to right back eventually, I'm sure. But, it's looking of a dafter and dafter thing to say by the day, really, that we're now seeing Izzy Jones play 90 minutes and still not playing at right back. Obviously, some of Jack's comments were picked up on by Cardiff, if not Cardiff's players, Cardiff's fans certainly, about how they're no better than us, they're just more consistent. Well, I'd like to hear his views now, because I don't think anyone of a Luton persuasion can tell me that Cardiff aren't better than Luton. They just played it out on the pitch. They were light years better than Luton.
Yeah, no miles better, and that's the worrying thing, isn't it? Because they were seriously off it last season. They've gone and pretty much had a rebuild, but rebuilt from within. I guess that is one of the points that may help, because they've been, bred the Cardiff way, if you like, some of those players. But I think that's the main debate, really. It's how are they so vastly superior to us? How has that difference been able to grow so rapidly from when we last played them at the back end of last season? I mean, they're playing some absolutely sparkly football. We're playing some good stuff at home. We're starting to, but they've gone 10 games unbeaten, Cardiff, and they, let's be honest, they're going to win that league, aren't they? If you saw that game, you can't tell me that you've seen a better team than them. They're going to win that league, and we're struggling to break into the playoffs. That difference is that it deserves a lot of examination. I don't think you come up with answers. Maybe a lot of questions, though.
Yeah, and we do need to go through that, and we will go through that later in the podcast, because lots of you have commented on the instant reaction, and it's only fair, asking that exact question, and it's only fair that we give an opinion on it, even if, like Jimbo says, we haven't got the answers. You say they're going to win the league. You speak to some Cardiff fans coming out of there, they're still nervous. They've obviously had a bad history or something along that. Listen, there'll be a lot of Cardiff fans watching this, because there are a lot of Cardiff fans who responded to the instant reaction. Have no fear, guys. We saw Lincoln 3 weeks ago, who were the only challengers that you've got. And whilst they're a good side, and I really admire what they're doing, they are a country mile off of Cardiff. If Cardiff don't win this league, it's a travesty.
Well, yeah, and even if they don't go up automatically, I mean, the gap now is, there's got 10 point buffer now between the third place team. So you're going up automatically at least. But look, I think you should say it with your chest now that you're going to win that league. You are. You're just far superior to everyone else. And, I think a part of that will be just oozing confidence in every way. All their players able to handle the ball nicely, tidily, but sharply, with intent, purpose, able to exploit the spaces that we gave them anyway. And I mean, the third goal tells you that much. But then also the strike of that third goal, I'm not sure we've got many people who are going to hit goals like that. They were just far superior, and that's why sobering is the word, isn't it? Because you realise we're just not capable. Well, currently we're not capable of getting the playoffs, let alone even battling them or Lincoln.
No, we'll come on to the next 2 weeks at the end of the podcast because our season is the next 2 weeks. So let's make no bones about that. Maximum points required from these next 3 games and or a win against Plymouth in the trophy. Else, well, we're just going through the motions in March and April, aren't we? But the game itself, I mean, they could have been 2 up before they went 1 up. I forget the name of the right winger now. I'll search for it when I stop talking. But he curled a shot that looked like it was going in, but thankfully was just wide of the post in the first couple of minutes. And then Kearley's made an absolute blinding save from the left back. He's got no right to save that because I don't know what Nigel Longwake's doing in front of him. He just torpedoes himself or something rather than standing there and kicking it. But it comes through a row of bodies and he gets it just wide enough for the attacker, who I think was Kellyman, to put it over the crossbar. And you're like, we've seen off 2 major chances. Let's hope that's it. And then we go and gift them a goal. And I mean, you've mentioned the third goal. For me, the first goal was the worst one. There are 3 people around Colwell. 3 people. I mean, and they're all standing there. And they're all at different angles in a triangle around him. And they all stand and look at him.
Well, there's 4 if you count the first contact with Jordan Clark who gets...
Well, I was trying to avoid that because he's not in any way, shape or form a defender, is he? But you're absolutely right. He just ghosts off of Jordan Clark when he gets the ball. But there are 3 looking at him. Mengi looks at him face on. Johnson's looking at him from behind. And Kodja, who's obviously not impressed Jack in that first half, looking at him from behind. Not one of them thinks of A, closing him down, and B, putting a tackle in. He just rolls the ball across the box and you're kind of thinking, 3 are out of the game. And then lo and behold, there's the central midfielder, Turnbull. He's got a tap in. He's got no one near him. No one near him. He might not be your man, Longwake. He might not be your man, Anderson, but surely you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, Christ, we're in a spot of bother here, and you throw yourself in front of it. But this goes back to what I've said. We don't defend our box. We just stand there like lemmings and hope that they miss. Well, not going to at this level, are they?
Lemmings or lemons?
Lemons, sorry, not lemmings. Yeah. It was a very bitter day yesterday.
We definitely jumped off the cliff, really.
Yeah,
so it could be lemmings as well. But
there was a lot of bitterness yesterday without lemons getting involved.
Yeah, I mean, it set the tone, didn't it, really, I don't know what the instructions were there or whether they were just that fleet of foot we couldn't get near them. Both are concerning, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, these players aren't stupid, right? Or at least we don't think they are. They're not stupid. They must know that Cardiff are good. You and I pointed out how good they are, and we don't do an analyst job in any way, shape or form. They must have known how good they are. So surely the one thing you're going to do is close them down. Because if you don't close them down, Christ, we had this in the Premier League for 10 months. You don't close them down, there's only one place the football is ending up. And it did.
Yeah, that's the thing. They were sort of fairly accurate as well, fairly clinical. I mean, not enough because they probably could have got away with scoring 3 more goals, didn't they? So I guess we'll come to that. But you can't. Yeah, that is fairly criminal for that many players to be stood around him and not putting a tackle in, and then the players that weren't involved in that action in the middle not spotting it is, the mind boggles.
Yeah, I mean, it can't keep on happening. You know, they are still saying that we want to get promoted this season. Well, if we do, how about showing that we want to get promoted by closing people down, by ruffling a few feathers, by not being so nice? Because we are too nice. We're way too nice. You look at them, they're a damn good football team. But when they need to foul someone, they foul someone. And I'll come on to one that should have not changed the game, but had an impact on the game later. But we're way too nice. We are way, way, way too nice.
Well, we're statistically the nicest. We're top of the fair play league, aren't we? You'd want a bit of grit and stuff. And this is, again, we showed a bit of that against Bradford in the home game. Casey Palmer, tripped a player when he thought they were going to get away. And it was just, there's just none of that. It is really, here you go then, lads, there you go. Here's the space. Yeah, you're sort of at a loss to explain it now because it's set in, isn't it? It's set in. That's how the away games go. If a team goes ahead, we'll struggle to get them back.
And that's
we don't score enough goals. We don't create enough chances to even threaten if they do. And once it's 3, you're like, well, when was the last time we scored 3? Well, last time we won a game away, wasn't it? Early November.
I was absolutely staggered that there was as many people who came back off the concourse at half time as they did because we all knew the game was up. But that was the annoying thing yesterday. We did get them back. we did peg back. For the first time in 2026, we scored a goal on our travels. Okay, it's a penalty. But you take it, you clutch at every straw that you can clutch at the minute.
He'd
have scored
if it didn't
anyway.
foul him, you'd think he'd score because it was an exquisite ball from Devante Cole to Izzy Jones. And then, Izzy Jones that's maybe a bit more confident there, I think doesn't take the extra touch that gets him into the area where Bagan can foul him. I think it's one touch and bang. Maybe that'll come, but yeah, I mean, we got the penalty in the end, I suppose, and then this new rule, which
it's not that new though. It's not that new. This is at least the second, if not third season that this double jeopardy rule's been in play. There were lots of Luton fans calling for him to be sent off, but I guess the question is, did he make a play for the ball? Now, from a referee who's not keeping up with those two, to be fair, Usain Bolt's struggling to keep up with those two right now, but from where the referee was, it probably looked like he did make a play for the ball. When you see it on a replay, I don't think he does. I think he just tries to block the shot that's coming in. But, by the by, isn't it? He got a yellow card, which is as the rule is right now. He got that yellow card. We converted the penalty. It's exactly the same penalty that Clark hit against Wickham and Leyton Orient, or whoever the two games were that he took them penalties in. And thankfully, Trott hadn't done his homework and didn't get down to that corner quickly enough, and it went in. And at 1-1, you're like, we're back in the game now. But the last time I kind of really remembered thinking that was at West Brom, and very, very quickly it went pear-shaped. And it didn't go pear-shaped as quickly this time, but that was only because of some profligate finishing, because it was just a siege on our goal, wasn't it, for the remainder of the half. We couldn't touch them. We couldn't get near them. I mean, Jack spoke about winning duels after the game. We had to get involved in some duels first. That would have been a starter because we just couldn't get near them. Their midfield too, Robertson and Turnbull, different gravy. Colwill, unbelievable. And the two wingers, Willock, and I still haven't looked his name up, the geezer on the right. Tanner, is it? Just come to me. Tanner. I mean, they were just had our fullbacks on toast and we couldn't get out. We were getting deeper and deeper and deeper. Devante Cole was dropping in, kind of making it 4-1-5 rather than the formation that we were playing. And eventually it was just something's going to happen and, something's going to give. And unfortunately, we've made a right ricket that's set it up. Now, Casey Palmer's taken the ball off the goalkeeper loads of times since he's been playing that 6 role. And he's carried the ball and he's been brilliant with it. But every now and again, he's going to get it caught under his feet. And you just hope when he does get it caught under his feet, there isn't a striker waiting to pounce, and particularly a striker of the quality of Joel Colwill. How's your Donald? He got it caught under his feet. There was a quality striker of Joel Colwill. Keeley might be slightly out of position because he's just played the pass and he's rolled it in. He's got no chance anyway. He's 1-on-1 with the keeper, isn't he? He's rolled it in. And at 2-1, you kind of expected the dam to burst there, and they didn't disappoint.
Yeah, I mean, with Palmer getting nicked off him, they hunted him down. 3 of them. They hunted him down.
And it's important to recognise that because they hunted in packs.
Yeah.
They don't go one here, one there, and let you get out easily. They go in packs. If one don't get you, the next one's going to. You can't do what Palmer does, or what Palmer did, against Bradford, and just run away from the danger and carry the ball up. You have to flick it to another person, run the other side, and get it back. Exactly what Cardiff do, right? When someone out wide gets the ball, there's someone inside to flick it and then go again. We didn't press at all yesterday, but we certainly don't press in them numbers.
No, the energy to do that is totally where Brian Barry Murphy's come from, isn't it? That's what Man City do, and they've done it to a T in a League One version. They were doing it all over the park, and Casey Palmer, we talked about him in the previous game. As being able to hold the ball and not shake it off him. He's not Superman. Eventually something will happen like that, and if they target him, which they seem to, and maybe we shouldn't have picked him up that much. It's not our fault, but they obviously saw him as a quality player and went after him, and that one time it broke. Still, after they've got the ball off of him, they've still got to do some work there, and there's not enough closing down. And Mads Anderson, for me, gets caught in 2 minds. I mean, he's probably damned if he does, damned if he doesn't anyway, because they overloaded the situation. But at least make a play for the ball to to make you make a decision. And it's threaded straight through, and it's the easiest goal in the world, isn't it, really, then?
It is, yep. And then, as I say, you feared the worst after that because we were being pegged back so deep. We were chasing the ball around, and their danders were up, weren't they? The crowd were up. Still got bloody drum in that end. That's the only downside to Cardiff yesterday, the drum in their end.
I got taken to Hemel Town last week. My mate is a Hampton and Richmond Borough fan, so we went to watch that. They had a drum at Hemel Town. So it's not just the Football League that gets it.
At least at Hemel Town you can have a sherbet or three and forget that it exists. This is not the case in English football or Welsh football. In this circumstance, within 5 minutes, it was game over, wasn't it? And you've already referenced how bad the third goal is. You stand off anyone at this level, their level, sorry, not this level. Don't be surprised if it ends up in the top corner. And this is their right back, Perry and G, who, Codger's staring at him. He was almost enticing him to shoot. And when he done, bang, it was just a thunderbolt into the top corner, wasn't it? This is Perry and G, their right back, who had as many shots in the game as Luton in total. Their right back, 3 shots. Luton had 3 shots. There's the dominance. Their right back had as many shots in the game as Luton.
Yeah, because they're losing confidence, aren't they? That strike alone tells you that they've got it in abundance. I mean, it's still a worldie. You've got to hand it to him. We're going to talk about Josh Keeley a fair bit today, I think, because it could have got worse, but for Josh Keeley, and he couldn't get near it. It's still a worldie strike, but the least you can do is try and make him think twice about having that shot. But no.
Well, you've got to close him down, haven't you? You've got to at least put some pressure on him so that he doesn't get a clean strike of the ball. And if you close him down well enough, he doesn't have a strike of the ball at all. He'll pass it, won't he, rather than shoot. But you stand there and say, go on then, and egg him on to shoot. That's what's going to happen, It might not happen when we play Port Vale in 2 weeks' time, but they weren't Port Vale yesterday. But even then, I would imagine Port Vale will put a shot on target. Maybe not with the quality that had, but there you go. And it was game over then. And we're just grateful, really, that they've got a game on Tuesday night, because if they wanted more, they'd have got more. You mentioned earlier that we looked better in the second half, and yeah, possibly. But they had the cigars on by then. Yeah, the cigars were well and truly out. And even then, if someone's scoring the 5th goal of the game, it ain't Luton.
No. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? And that was showed by the way that they attacked and had those good chances. Keeley with a couple of fantastic saves to keep them at bay. They should have, even with that foot off the gas, they were still better than us. And man, maybe we'd given up as well a little bit, but that's not really good enough either, is it? So, however way you sort of slice it, it's a day to really realise that you're not as good as you thought you were. And I'm not saying that about fans, but maybe the team and that think that they're better than they are or should be. And that may be the case with the players they've got, but certainly not on the road. It's not happening on the road, and it needs to be fixed quick.
It does need to be fixed quick. Yet, and I'll repeat from what I said earlier in the podcast, not one shot of any kind in that second half. And, he threw attacker after attacker after attacker on. Okay, admittedly, he took attacker after attacker after attacker off, but for no one to have a shot was just, surely personal pride. At some point when you're 30 yards out, you must think, well, it's not our day, or they're just way too good for us. I'm just going to whack it and see if I get lucky, strike gold, get a deflection, hits a hand, whatever. No, not even that. Even in the first half, this was kind of part of the sort of pandemic that we had, really, because Richards had a great chance to shoot in the first half, didn't, laid it out wide. Joe Johnson had a good chance to shoot in the first half, didn't, lost the ball. Apart from Casey Palmer, who had that scuffed shot that went wide, and apparently the third shot is his shot from the halfway line, which I'm still convinced is an overhit pass to Jake Richards, who was all alone 30 or 40 yards in front of him. I don't think it was a shot by any stretch of imagination. If it was nearer the corner flag than it was the goal, so he's done well to register it as a shot. That was it. Penalty, scuffed shot from 25 yards, and a supposed shot from inside our own half. They're good, Cardiff, but you've got to be able to offer more than that.
You have, but we haven't offered more than that on a consistent basis now, away, and it's a big worry. And when the fortunes are so contrastingly different, I think that Jack would probably be at as much a loss as we are as to explain why you can play so well the previous week at home and play reasonably well so far, bar in the first game he had at home in the league, and then just go away and it not happen. Is that confidence when you're talking about those players that probably had a chance to shoot and didn't? Maybe, because the only other option there, or the only other explanation, is that they're being instructed not to. And if that's the case, then why?
Well, you kind of wonder if that is the case, because why would Richards not be confident for shooting from 20 yards out? Because let me flash you back to last Saturday. He shot from 20 yards out and hey presto, ball ends up in the bottom corner. So if he hasn't got the confidence having just done it the week before and sticking it in the bottom bin, why hasn't he now? I mean, it's not like we were keeping the ball and we were creating chance after chance after chance. We created nothing. We didn't have a single shot apart from a penalty inside their penalty box. And okay, we would have done with Izzy Jones had he not been fouled. But, you know.
I think the manner of the 2 and 3 goals, being quick fire 5-minute goals, and the timing of them just before half time. How many times have we talked about this? The 10 minutes before the break and the 10 minutes after, we get killed so often in these games. And I think that they've experienced that. They've experienced these players giving them a runaround, and it probably is a natural human emotion to go, well, they are really good, and it's not going to happen for us, which then makes you play inside your shell a little bit. But you need somebody to rabble rouse a bit, don't you? Like, say, shout at people and they come on and get them going to try and affect it. But those stats don't suggest that we did.
Oh, we definitely didn't have that, did we? I mean, if you look at any replays of goals that Luton concede, and then you look at when the camera pans to the reactions, all you'll see Luton players doing is flapping their arms as if what's happened here. You never really ever see a Luton player clapping or digging his foot in or having a angry attack or something. You don't really see that. They just wave their arms as if it's like a flag that they're waving, really, because I can only assume no one knows why it's happening, because if someone knew why it was happening, I'd like to think they put a bloody stop to it, because, this is 7 away games since that Stockport game now, and the only point we've taken in that time was when we were grateful that a useless Leyton Orient goalkeeper flapped at a corner. Otherwise, we wouldn't have even taken that point. And the only other 2 goals we scored in this 7-game run were at Reading, when, funnily enough, someone did shoot from 25 yards, and it ended up in the bottom corner. Nigel Longwake. And apart from that, I mean, I think I've done something like 1,600 miles to away games in 2026, and I've got 5 shots on target to show for my travels. 320 miles per shot on target in 2026. I mean, I don't ask for miracles, right? I never expect. I know I steadily went for 2-1 on the Insta, but I never really thought we were going to win that game. I said it as much in the preview, but multiple shots on target ain't asking too much to ask of an away game, is it? Only one of the 4 away games in 2026 have we had multiple shots on target, and Plymouth should have been 4 or 5 to the good by the time they came along.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to score goals if you don't shoot, and we're not getting behind either. On the odd occasion that we did, that Shaden Morris one where he got in behind and crossed it, they were just hungrier to snaffle it, weren't they? And we didn't get anything from that either.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Morris got in behind, and we put a cross to the back post where Devante Cole was waiting for a tap in. Now, if the roles are reversed, if Devante Cole plays for Cardiff, he scores. But Cardiff's defenders, over hell or high water, are you getting a free header on this? And as it turned out, NG got back and flicked it away just before he got his header in, and it went for a corner. And we might as well have gone for a goal kick, because our corners were absolutely pants yesterday. All 3 takers hit the first man. We only had 3 corners. All 3 of them hit the first man. Jake Richards, Jordan Clark, and then Davy Vandenberg. And I mean, it summed up the afternoon, really, to be fair. But the other end, we don't. We hope that he misses the header at the back post rather than bust a gut and absolutely over hell or high water are you getting your head on this ball. So if Cole had played for Cardiff, he'd have scored in the exact in that exact same chance. Or Keeley would have had to have made a save, a la the Robinson save right at the end, which, I mean, it's Gordon Banks-esque, isn't it? That save right at the end is an unbelievable save. He made one at Bradford earlier in the season when we were 2-0 down, and we went and scored a goal shortly after that. And had we have scored an equaliser, he'd have earned us a point with that. I mean, we were never, ever scoring an equaliser yesterday. But if by some amazing thing, one goal is the difference of us achieving something and not achieving something this season, then that save has done it, because he has absolutely no divine right to save that. And in injury time, he's also got no real right to even care about saving it. Oh, well, I've had no protection all day. You're right in front of me, you're whatever you are, 3 yards out, just score. But he doesn't. He's still trying, and he makes an incredible save.
Yeah, I think he would always want to try and make a
Of course, but, you know.
Yeah, but
I wouldn't have held it against him if he'd just and it had gone in.
I think you would have.
No, I wouldn't, because he saved so many before that.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a cricket score in waiting. And we haven't even mentioned that Gabe Osho done a Sonny Bradley to us and hit the bar from 3 yards out.
Yeah, thank you, Gabe, for that. Yeah. Well, again, when you look over the course of the season, it's not like we haven't had moments where we have busted a gut. You think to the Stockport game when Mengi busted a gut to block something when we were 3-1 up and then celebrate in front of the crowd. But is that because we're 3-0 up and flying and have our tails up? You need to be able to do it both ways, don't you? You need to be able to, even though we're losing 3-1, well, ideally before you get to that point, busting the gut to stop these things. It can't just be all sunshine and roses when you're winning. Not going to work like that.
And also, in 31 games, you'd like to be able to pick out more than one example of it as well, wouldn't you? But I'm sure there are, and they're just not as memorable as that one. But yeah, not remotely good. I mean, afterwards, Jack cut a pretty low figure, and that's a good thing, because at least he didn't accept it. And maybe it was a sobering afternoon for him if he truly did believe that we're as good as Cardiff going into the game. And we certainly won't now. And I mean, it's a blind man can see that there's a gulf between those two sides. But he did keep on mentioning Jules, and he's right to. Not one Luton player won more than 50% of the duels yesterday, which is criminal in itself. No one can look in the mirror and say, I did my job today on the pitch, because, the very bare minimum, you've got to win more than you lose. I mean, otherwise, how are you expected to win a game of football? I look at football in a very simplistic way, Jimbo, because I'm a very simplistic person. There are 10 outfield players on the pitch. If 6 of you win your personal battle, there's a good chance that you're going to win the game of football. How many people yesterday of an outfield persuasion won their own personal battle? I'm struggling to find one. Maybe I'll be kind to Izzy Jones. I'll say he did. So let's say 1 out of 10. Because I didn't see anyone else who won their personal battle. Willock absolutely destroyed Longwake. Tanner absolutely destroyed Joe Johnson. Kellyman and Cole Will had our 2 centre-backs on toast. The battle of the 4 central midfielders was an absolute mismatch. Chambers and Osho had Devante Cole and Jake Richards well and truly wrapped up. Kodja went off at half-time, which told you everything you needed to know about his performance. And Izzy Jones started as right wing and basically went all the way around the square apart from the position that we're told that he wants to play. And it's just, you're not going to win a game of football if only one of your 10 outfield players wins their own personal battle. And that's what I would look at in this situation, Jimbo. Forget the confidence of the team. Just do what you do. And you mentioned it earlier about Mads Anderson making Colwell do something for the second goal. Just look at yourself. And when you get back on the coach on Wednesday night at Wigan, whatever happens for the rest of the game, go on that coach knowing that you, as an individual, have won your own personal battle, and hope that 5 others around you have done the same. Because all you can do is what you can do, right? You can't control the other 9 outfield players around you, but you can make sure that you win your battle, and hopefully 6 do, and we go and win the game. Because otherwise, we're nowhere really, are we?
Well, these sorts of results and performances, I think, must make you reevaluate what's going on. And usually that means a back to the basics approach, doesn't it? That's what we're kind of used to. Do those basics and try and get us on the front foot first, and then maybe the rest will follow. I think it's probably bigger than that, though, because we didn't do those basics and then we haven't got any threat anyway. So it's a concern all over the shop when we leave Luton. But the only thing that you can hope from that performance is that, like you said, Jack cut a fairly despondent figure, that he looks at it and realises they're not as good and works on ways to fix it. Maybe the game on Wednesday could offer us something there, because we're going to have played a day later and been given a runaround by Arsenal in the FA Cup. And if there's a way to change it, I mean, it has to change anyway. We know that. We all kind of believe that it has to change in terms of getting a victory there. But maybe that's a place that it can be a turning point. But until you see it after this long run, we're approaching 3 months nearly, aren't we, without a victory on the road?
I think we're slightly over 3 months. I think it was the 8th of November.
Well, there you go then. Until we see those changes, then you're not going to have much confidence about away days at all.
No, you're not. You're not. I mean, when you go to a game that no one really expects you to win, but also as a player, surely it's a game that you're thinking, "Cool, this is the right game for me to show what I'm all about here." Away to the league leaders, 20,000 or whatever in the crowd, big afternoon of football against a really good side. Even if we don't end up doing anything this season, I can at least show how good I am. I mean, that's how I would be thinking of it. I'm sure that's how Jack would be thinking of it. You don't get to the levels that he played at, or indeed all of the people that they play at, if you haven't got enough belief in your own ability. But no one showed it, and it was. Well, go back to that word we used right at the start of the podcast. Sobering afternoon. It was an afternoon that we didn't really expect anything, and still didn't get to expectations of what we did expect, if that makes any sense at all. You went with no expectations and still failed to live up to it.
Yeah, the bar's fairly low, isn't it, at the moment, and we're not doing anything to raise it whatsoever. So it's a really chastening experience to have that happen, and even more so against, like I say, a side that finished comfortably below us, even though we both went down comfortably below us last season in the Championship, to have affected that turnaround so well. And people out there be screaming at me about we're still on parachute payments, and yeah, we are, but you know where that money's going, don't you? It's going mostly on the stadium. They're still spending a little bit, of course, but yeah, the change there, the transformation of them, and the hit and miss nature of us is a real head scratcher.
I tell you what, this season's fast becoming into, Jimbo. This season is fast becoming into an appreciation society of all the players that have played for us in the past. Because already this calendar year, or I say this calendar year, just over this calendar year, ovations have been given out to Jack Marriott, to Fred Onyedinma, to Sonny Bradley, to Gabe Osho.
Yeah.
And Gabe Osho, to be fair to him, came over to the Luton fans at the end, and he was the only one who got an ovation. There were a few Luton fans clapping Luton players, but I think Luton fans are long since past clapping Luton players away from home until they see something different. But Osho came over. Pele Radicampanzi would be the other obvious one that I missed out. That was slightly before those games that I recollected. And he got a standing ovation, and why wouldn't he? Because for Gabe Osho in this defence. For Gabe or anyone of Gabe Osho's play. I mean, he put on them. Cardiff fans are telling me he ain't been very good for them. Well, if you don't want him, lads, get him on the first train back to Luton, because he walks into this team. He's confident on the ball. He's comfortable on the ball. He doesn't walk out with the ball. He doesn't jog out with the ball. If there's a space in front of him, he runs into it. He passes the ball off. He doesn't stop. He keeps on going because he knows he's going to get the ball back. He's a threat. He's aggressive in the opposition box. He's aggressive when the ball goes up to the striker that he's supposedly marking. He is everything we ain't got in a defender right now. Or everything our defenders aren't showing they've got right now. Sorry, should I say.
Yeah,
I might have been right the first time, to be fair.
I'd love a penny for his thoughts, to be honest, to sit down and ask him, compared to the team that you're in, and you've just played this team, what's the big differences? I'd love to know. I'd love to know it from any of those players you mentioned, because even right now, Jack Marriott will walk in this team.
Top scorer in the division.
For a mid-table team, he's top scorer in the division, scoring for fun. And we thought we'd, for a while, this was the legitimate policy, wasn't it? Sometimes we'd surpass the players and they'd move on. And at the time, that was right. Same for James Collins, same for Sonny Bradley. But now, after the disastrous couple of seasons we've had, these players are right back on terms.
No, they're not. They're in front.
And we'd have them back every day of the week.
Yeah, the ones I've just mentioned, they're all in front. I mean, Pelly walks into this midfield, even though he can't trap a bag of cement. Osho, Bradley, Pearson, Collins, Marriott, they all stroll into this side, and therein is the damning appraisal of it all, really, isn't it? I mean, Cardiff, ironically, I think I'm right. If I'm wrong, Cardiff fans, I apologize. I think I'm right in saying the only player on that pitch yesterday that Cardiff paid a transfer fee for was Gabe Osho. And and they absolutely ran rings around us. And you look at our side. Izzy Jones, we paid 5 million quid for. Supposedly, we don't know the exact numbers. We're only going by reports of when these transfers happened. We are due to pay £3 million for Ali Al-Hamadi, who came off the bench yesterday. We've paid some sort of fee for Shaden Morris, some sort of fee for Devante Cole,
Kodja,
some sort of fee for Kodja. We think it's £1 million for Josh Keeley. So you were already getting somewhere in the vicinity of 12 to 15 million pounds on that pitch yesterday, and it delivered a grand total of 1 penalty as a shot on target and 2 other shots. And I'm still far from convinced that the second one of those was remotely a shot.
When you put it like that, it's more than sobering in the end. Actually, that's
damning, really, isn't it?
Yeah, but it is also, it's chalk and cheese, though, isn't it? Because at home we're thinking, crack this, we're doing well. Away, I don't know what's going on when they're going away. Somebody commented, I saw on your instant reaction, that we should drive down the day before.
Well,
they do drive down the day before. They stay in a hotel, so it's not like they're on a long coach trip up there, and it's not Sunday League here.
I was going to bring that up, because I saw the exact same comment. And yeah, Jimbo's right, they do. And Jimbo obviously knows, because the away press conferences differ in time from when they're going to travel and things like that. Do you know what? Maybe they need to knock that on the head and travel on the day. And think, no, I'm genuinely being serious, right? They can't be any worse than these 5 away. We've had 5 shots on target in our last 4 away games, having all the luxuries that go with it of staying overnight and going the day before and all this, that, and the other. If that's what that's delivering, what's the point? Just go on the day. You never know. They might have it in their psychological nonsense that, we're travelling on the day, it's like a home game. It can't be worse, Jimbo. We can't keep on doing the same thing. Right? And I'm not for 1 minute advocating that you've got to travel to Plymouth on the day. I'm not that stupid. I did it. But I'm not saying it. But Port Vale ain't a million miles away. There's nothing wrong with setting off on a coach at 9:30 for Port Vale and getting there at 12, having a lunch, and then going and playing a game of football. If staying over in a hotel, which is, you stick 25 of them together for 25 players and, I don't know, 20 coaching staff and directors and everything else, that soon mounts up over the course of time. If the output is 5 shots on target from 4 away games, what's the point? Do something different. Go on the day. You're not going to kill them.
I know what you're saying, and it's an interesting take, but listen, if they did that and they lost, everybody would crucify him for that.
But at least you can scratch it off of the things that you can do. Because he seemingly doesn't want to do anything on the pitch that's different. Yeah. They're staying overnight. I mean, to be fair to all their wives and girlfriends on Valentine's Day, at least they had no worries with them playing away, because this lot ain't played away for about 3 seasons, have they? Let alone on Valentine's Day. But something has to change, right? It
I
does.
know what you're saying. I'm not sure I can join you in that.
They
in
don't
that
have.
theory.
They don't have to stay overnight. They stay overnight. The reason why they stay overnight is for peak preparation, right?
Yeah.
Well, if peak preparation's delivering that, they're not. I genuinely would say to them, and again, I stress, I'm not talking about Plymouth away. We play at 7:45 on Wednesday night. What's the harm in getting on a coach at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning, being up there at sort of 2 p.m., going through your pre-match routine in a hotel and then going? But they won't. They'll go up on Tuesday. At least then on Tuesday you can have a full day of training and prepare for this game.
I can't get on board with it. I don't think it's one of your more out there theories, that one. I understand where it's coming from. You've got to try and do different things to get different results is where you come from. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that one, mate.
Okay,
In fact, I'm not sure. I'm not having it.
If I'm running any kind of business and I am putting my staff up overnight, I would expect a significantly better return on my investment the following day in their performance than what I'm getting. So either the person running the business has to say, listen, lads, shape up, or I take away the luxury of the night before and we work on the day. They're not delivering you, but let's not get, this is not a 2025-26 thing. We haven't been able to win away from home since Dabo sent that penalty halfway around Jupiter.
Yeah, agreed. 3 different managers.
So we've tried the managers.
Yeah,
we've tried the players.
Yeah. So it feels like a bottom of the barrel argument, this one.
Of course, it's a bottom of the barrel. We've delivered 5 shots on target in 4 away games. Take yesterday out of the equation, because yesterday is absolute anomaly. Go back to the 3 prior to that. Exeter, absolutely right down the bottom of the table, going nowhere when we went there. Plymouth were just starting to pick up form. Huddersfield had 10 men for an hour. 4 shots on target.
Yeah, I mean, it does need real investigation as to what's going on away. All of it does. I think that would be way down the pecking order of things that you might need to have a look at.
Well, they don't seem to be looking at anything that's higher up the pecking order, though, do they? I mean, one thing I would change. No, I don't know. I don't know if I would change it, because I don't know if you can change it. But one stat that's staring me in the face, and I don't know whether it's worth bringing it up here or not. It's probably harsh because Cardiff are a side that you shouldn't really judge anything on. But Jordan Clark's pass completion rate away from home is becoming a real concern. Bearing in mind we're going to these teams hoping to keep the ball and nullify their threats and blah, 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 and all the other stuff that I'm sure you're getting annoyed of hearing from Jack. It's not good.
Go on then. What is it? What is the stat?
You've gone and got me here, haven't you? So I've only gone back to the last 3 away games. I haven't done the Exeter away game because Jack made wholesale changes for that game. So it's not a settled side. It would be unfair to comment on that one. So Plymouth away, Jordan Clark's pass completion 65%. Now, bearing in mind that our possession rate is around that anyway, 65%. The other 2 midfielders, and by midfielders, I'm saying the 2 deep pivots and the 10. Liam Walsh, 81%. Casey Palmer, that was his debut, and he played as the 10 that day, and we don't think he's that, 63%. Fast forward to Huddersfield, Clark was the false 9 there, so we can cut him a little bit of slack on that because he was playing with his back to goal. 62%. Walsh and Palmer both 89% in that game, pass completion rate. So in that game, every 10 passes that Walsh and Palmer made, 9 of them went to their target. Yesterday, Clark, 63%. Palmer, 90%. Jake Richards was the other guy who only played in the centre for the first half, 71% when he got hooked off, but it was 77% for the first half that he was in the 10 role. He is a country mile behind the other midfielders. Now, he doesn't offer you physicality. You highlighted how Colwill ran off of him for the first goal yesterday, so he doesn't offer you anything defensively. We're not having shots on goal offensively, although to be fair to Clark, most of the ones that we have had away from home recently have been him. I don't know how much longer we can carry that when we're away from home and we're not delivering anywhere on the pitch. surely you'd take the worst offender out, and of the 3 midfielders that Jack's using, he's not even close to anyone in pass completion. And now, let's do devil's advocate. Is he taking on more riskier passes than Liam Walsh and Casey Palmer? Quite possibly.
Well, that was going to be my argument. Is there stats to show if he's trying to progress the ball with that? Because if he is trying to make more effort to pass the ball forward and it's getting cut out, which is obvious because we're not getting anywhere near the goals and not creating chances, then that might explain the number there.
Indeed, but it's a significantly lesser number than the others that played in those positions at different times. You know, I don't know, when you're looking for something to change, surely you've got to look at what's not working. And I love Jordan Clark. He's an absolute fantastic bloke, but I don't see league points being given for how many fantastic blokes you have in your lineup. I don't know. But is that something that we can look at?
Well, you can look at it, investigate as to why the number's that low, and if it's because he's trying to progress the ball forward. If it's not, and he's just losing possession, then I think there's an argument there, isn't there? Particularly when you put it up against that 81% of Liam Walsh. Now, Liam Walsh is not available at the moment. He's got a shoulder injury and previously had an illness, so I don't think that's going to change for this week. But yeah, maybe slightly in the longer term. The other point, I suppose, is that your captain's not getting a look in at the moment, and then you move your vice captain out.
Well, that could impact the numbers, couldn't it? That he's a captain in a struggling side, and it's affecting his own individual performance. There is absolutely an argument for that being the case, but I don't know if there's a personnel issue. I mean, these numbers tell me that Casey Palmer's fine. These numbers tell me that Liam Walsh is absolutely fine. 81 and 89% for a League One footballer of pass completion. That's above what I do. I mean, I think anything less than 70 with the passes that we play. It's not like we're raking passes here, there, and everywhere. They're generally slow, generally small passes to get us into better positions, aren't they? We're not talking Cal Naismith's diags from one corner to the other here. We're talking, and he's in a part of the pitch where he has a lot of the ball. Therefore, these numbers are incredible. I mean, I'll just flip it around and tell you that Turnbull yesterday was at 90% and Robertson was at 87%, just to put it into context. I don't know. We have to change personnel, right, to get out of this. I don't know if that's... I mean, then you're going to say to me, well, who would be captain? And I would absolutely agree with that. But this goes back to what I said in January. We needed a dominant person, a leader to come into the football club. And, he keeps on babbling on about how we've got leaders. I don't see it, but he does, and that's absolutely fine. But then the other thing would be who comes into the centre of midfield. Well, we signed 2 central midfielders, neither of whom are ready to play 90 minutes, so it can't be either of them two. It's unfortunate that Liam Walsh is injured, and there are rumours doing the rounds that injury is a lot worse than it's being let on. Let's hope that's not true. We're kind of... Well, it's the Winter Olympics right now, isn't it? We're kind of at the top of the mountain and someone's nicked our skis.
Well, I would agree that we need to change things certainly away and try and be more difficult to beat.
And this is only an away thing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're talking that, yeah.
The Jordan Clark numbers at home are absolutely astronomical. He's automatically the first name on the team sheet for literally everything that you want him to do in that position. But we have to win away games.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that might be a legitimate way to look at the away games in terms of making us, firstly, far more difficult to score against. Like you say, Jordan Clark's best position for me is in an attacking sense. And whenever we've used him further back, admittedly more under previous managers, I don't think that's worked at all. So, yeah, that could be one thing that we change. And with the signings of those midfielders, albeit Sandow, they think 10 more days or something like that. Vandenberg, who hasn't played 90 minutes since May.
He might wear 6, but he ain't a 6 anyway, is he? He's more a 10 than a 6 from what I understand.
Yeah. Then that might be an option. So yeah, it's one thing you could try. I don't know. I think that that's probably just chipping away at the top of an iceberg, I think. But why not?
Well, we've got to do something though, haven't we? You know, if he puts the same 11 out on Wednesday, yeah, okay, the same 11 might win at Wigan on Wednesday. It might do, because Wigan are so inferior from what I've seen of them recently to Cardiff, but they're not that much inferior to Exeter, and didn't even have a shot on target down there. Got absolutely, you know, they're not that much inferior to that Leyton Orient side and that Reading side that we played. Now, forget Reading's league position now. We firmly got them on the old turbo booster, didn't we? We pushed them right into gear. What if that 11 doesn't win on Wednesday? Season's done. I don't see how you can go there on Wednesday with that 11.
Yeah, that's a very good point. We've got to win that game, and how we do that from a position of seemingly forgetting how to let alone win games, is going to be a big turnaround needed. But yeah, it's a huge game now, massive.
Yeah, it's indeed. Pretty much the only positive from a Luton perspective yesterday was Huddersfield lost, so we didn't lose no ground on them, and they had an easier opposition than what we did. So to not lose ground was a positive. Obviously, Reading have gone above us. We've gone down to 8th now, and I know people don't like us talking about promotion, but if you've not got something to aim for, what's the point of all of this anyway? So we will keep talking about it until it is officially out of the equation, particularly whilst players and management are telling us that promotion's still their aim. If promotion is your aim, it's time to start showing it, lads, because these last 7 away games, that is not showing a promotion team. That is showing a team that's going through the motions and is expected to be playing in League One football next season, as good as Cardiff were. And at no stage in this podcast have we tried to talk them down. They're a very good side. 4 correct scores, Jimbo, from Saturday. Not mine, not yours.
Not mine.
No. And but Wales KTF's obviously a Cardiff fan, but you know, I said I'd give everyone a shout out. So there's that one. Ali Dig N2709, John Allen 9165, and M1 Jammed all said 3-1 Cardiff. And you were probably all sweating at halftime, really, weren't you? Because it looked like being 5, 6, 7, or however many that they wanted. Thank God they play on Tuesday. They got the cigars out.
Yeah, small mercies, but not really what we wanted.
Nope, not at all. Another dismal away day, really. Result to be expected, performance much lower than everyone wanted. And, something's got to give, hasn't it? And it's got to give very, very soon. Thanks to everyone who came up to me yesterday and told me how much you're enjoying the podcast. We really, really do appreciate that. We really appreciate all of your support and all of your feedback. And we try our hardest to action any feedback and talk about any comments that you've asked us to talk about. And we'll keep on doing that, particularly if these away performances keep on dropping. Do you know what? There's a growing band of people who want us to talk about crisps again. And if Wednesday goes pear-shaped, bring the crisps in, my friend. Bring the crisps in.
I like crisps, but not that much.
We've done that anyway.
What crisps?
Might have to do something else.
Like what?
Don't
Suggestions
know.
On a postcard or the comments.
Don't know. We've got 4 days to work it out. There will be a full preview of that Wigan game coming out to you on Tuesday. And when we review the Wigan game, we will preview the Burton game all in one podcast, because obviously we won't get into the studio until Thursday, and that game is on Saturday. So that's what's to come for the rest of the week. But if you subscribe and have your notifications on, you'll know exactly when all of the podcasts and all of the content, instant reactions, podcasts and everything else drops over the course of this week.
You know, it makes sense.
Lots of views and lots of reaction to the instant reaction yesterday, and I wasn't even angry.
Sort of resigned feeling that you had. I think.
Why had it going in?
I think probably everyone else had it as well. I mean, what can you say? They are the league leaders. They're going to win the league. They absolutely outclassed us, and we go home with the tails between our legs. You know, you just said it how it was,
which is all I ever tried to do. Yep. Thanks also to the folks here at Marsh House. We really appreciate your support this week, guys. Particularly this week when we're going to be in here quite a lot, and also to Sean Grant and the Wolfgang for our intro music. From Jimbo and myself, until next time, which will be a preview of a simply must-win game of football at the Brick Community Stadium, I think it's called now. It's still the JJB Stadium to me, but it's been DW Stadium in that time. Until then, from Jimbo and myself, give us something on the road, please, Town.